Okay, hello guys, welcome. This is going to be my second scripted what if, because my first one was what if Deku had Hawks' quirk. But this one is going to be what if Deku had telekinesis. So let's get into it. Also, thank you so much for 100 subscribers. It means a lot to me. And if I sound different, it's because they added stuff to my braces yesterday, which hurt my teeth. And the third thing, I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, wait, no. Oh yeah, I'm trying a different editing style. So yeah, let's get into it. So he starts this when Deku is 4. Mommy, it's computer time! Izuku shouted in an excited tone. Already? Alright, let me finish cleaning this final dish. Please go into your room and wait for me by his computer. Once he finished cleaning the dish, she walked into Izuku's room while putting All Might's video. And she said, "You've added 10,000 views to this, I think. I don't understand why you like it so much, Izuku. I think it's scary." And Izuku was smiling. And he was like, "He's the coolest in the universe. And once I get my quirk, I'm going to be just like him." His mom walked out of the room but was thinking if he had one, was questioning if he had a quirk, because normally he would have already developed it. Okay, so the next day he ran to his mom and said, Mom, I got my quirk and it's just like yours." Inko is pretty happy, but yes, he's happy. Let's flash back to earlier that morning. Izuku was on his bed playing with his tablet. Like, tablet, iPad are basically the same thing, except iPads are for iPhone. So, yeah, he was on his bed playing on his tablet, and he had a glass of water near his window. His hand was too sore, and he couldn't reach the water, and he was getting kind of grumpy because he wanted it but didn't want to stop watching. What was he watching? A toys commercial of All My Toys, maybe. So yeah, he was grumpy and he didn't want to leave his bed. But suddenly the water bottle started floating towards him super fast, and he got scared, and because of that, it just fell to the ground, making him wet. Well, not to the ground, but onto the bed, making him wet. Lucky for him, none of it went on his tablet. Okay, end of flashback. Inko questioned him why is he wet, and he explained everything about how his quirk is just like hers. So Inko tells Deku to calm down, and he goes to computer and books an appointment to the quirk doctor. So the next day, Inko has to bring Izuku to the grocery store because when they're done with the grocery store, they're going to go to his quirk doctor, and he doesn't want to be late. Okay. So at the quirk doctor, after testing Izuku to see if he had a quirk, he came out of the testing room with Deku and says, "Congratulations, ma'am. Your son has a quirk. He has telekinesis. See, your quirk is attracting small objects towards you, but for young Izuku here, um, he can levitate and move around anything, and his limit is 5 tons. But not only that, he also has the ability to possess any non-living object, but that's part of his telekinesis." Izuku nervously asked the doctor, "Can I be a hero with my quirk?" The reason why he asked nervously was because the doctor looked kind of scary. The doctor replies with, "Yes, of course you could become a hero with your quirk. You would make an amazing hero, maybe even the number one hero." And he started just laughing. Not like sarcastically, but just, I don't know. Okay. Ezekiel is really happy and starts jumping around in excitement. Though because his excitement caused everything in the room to float. Inko tells Ezekiel to calm down or he's gonna hurt someone by accident with his quirk. So he calms down and the objects stop floating but not like fall where they break. They just slowly levitate down. So yeah, the reason why she knew that was because her quirk kind of worked on emotions. Oh my god, my teeth hurt. Ouch. Alright, so when they came back home, Inko was teaching Deku how to attract small objects towards him because she can do that. And while he was using the same tactic to attract objects towards him, he also was able to move them away from him or left or right of him. So he basically has full control, kinda. He's also possessing small objects, and he made a paper airplane and started making it glide and also making it fly because when he possesses oh my god, I can't talk. So when he possesses something, it's like a second screen in his mind, and he controls it using his mind. If he overuses his possession, he will get a headache, and if he overuses his telekinesis, his hands will feel pressured and could even bleed at extreme levels of stress. Cause like the pressure on them is like squashing his hands, basically making it like he could basically destroy his veins from overusage of his quirk. So, yeah. Okay, time skip a week later when it's the morning of the first day of school. Izuku, wake up. You have to eat breakfast, take a shower, and get ready for school. Get out of your pajamas. Inko shouted. And let's say Deku was awake, but like, how do I explain it? Like, not really awake, but awake. So he's like, okay, fine. Can I just sleep in for 5 minutes? Izuku asked in a sluggish tone. Inko replies with, okay, but if you're not up in 5 minutes, I'll dump some water on you. Izuku gets scared by his statement, so he jumps out of bed and goes to his bathroom and basically puts water on his face, like washing it, in order to become wide awake. Yeah. After that, he uses his telekinesis to grab his toothbrush and toothpaste, then proceeds to put toothpaste on the brush, and possesses the toothbrush and brushes his teeth. So when he possesses something, let's say he can also basically make it levitate. And yeah, he can possess any non-living object. So puts water in his mouth from the sink, I guess, and then just spits it out like a normal person would after brushing their teeth, because you're not just going to swallow your spit and the toothpaste unless you're in space, because in space you don't have a choice. So yeah. Then he goes to his drawer and gets some school clothes and gets out of his pajamas and goes into the, what is it called? Wait, no. He took a towel and some clothes and put it on the table in the bathroom, and then would go inside of the thing and take a shower. Okay, so Izuku is done showering. So Izuku is done showering. He put on his clothes and comes out and goes to the kitchen. Okay, so after Izuku went out to the kitchen, he ate his cereal and milk. Then he got his bag ready, and his mom walked him to school. For the first days, walked him to school for his first day. So for the first period, yeah, oh my god, I can't talk. So for the first period, everyone was to introduce themselves and their quirks. This is kindergarten, by the way. Okay, so when it's Deku's turn, he says the following. I'm Izuku Midoriya. My quirk is telekinesis. It allows me to float any objects and control it, but I can also possess objects, like this pencil. The pencil suddenly starts floating around and moving as if it had a mind of its own. And and when everyone looked at Deku, they see like kind of like the pencil replaying in his mind, and his eyes are like glowing pink. So yeah, he looks lifeless at all. So after he was done, he explained that he technically splits his consciousness with the thing he's possessing. One of the teachers muttered, "Kids these days and their quirks, because the quirks get stronger each generation." And Bakugo is mad at the attention Izuku is getting, and he's like, "Mine is better. Creating frozen is better." And then Izuku said, "Bakugo, or no, Kachan, you're a terrorist." And and the teachers don't even know how Deku knows that word, and they're like telling him not to say that. And by the way, they're all 4-year-olds, so they don't know what they mean. They don't know what that means, except the teachers and Deku. So let's time skip till Deku is 14 years old. And on his way to school, he sees a battle at the Tatooine station against a thief with a gigantification quirk. Kamui Wood is fighting this villain, and he's about to unleash his final attack But then out of nowhere, Mount Lady swoops in and kicks the villain and gets all the fame. I'm sorry you guys hear a lot of squeaking. My bed is the squeakiest thing ever. So don't mind that, please. Okay. Um. Okay, so he arrives at school, and let's say it's the last period, because like his periods went like normal, and yeah. So now we're skipping to the last period. The teacher comes in the room and says, "At third years, it's time you think seriously about your futures. About your futures. I could hand out some career application tests, but why bother? I know you all want to be heroes." The teacher throws all of his papers in the air, and the classes and all the students are yelling and using their quirks, but Izuku is just doodling in his notebook, writing about the what is it called? Writing about the fight from earlier and Mount Lady and Commonly with his quirks. Baku jumps on his desk and says, "Hey, Teach, don't let me in with this bunch of losers. I'm the real deal, but these nerds will end up lucky as sidekicks to some busted D-listers." The students scream at Bakugo, yelling, "You think you're better than us, Skotsky?" Bakugo replies with, "Bring it on, I'll take you all on." "Oh, Bakugo, you're trying out for UA?" the teacher asks. "Yeah, of course I am." A stu- a st- Wait, Bakugo replies, "A student in background mutters, that school has a 0.2 acceptance rate." Bakugo replies with, "And that's why it's the only school worthy for me." You've got some impressive test results and a good quirk. You might actually get in," the teacher says. And Baku is just monologuing about how he aced all the mock tests, and he's saying he's the best in school. Well, no, the best in his class. Well, yeah, maybe the best in school too, but no, the best in his class. And the teacher cuts him off and says, "Hey, Midoriya, you're trying out for UA as well?" The whole class looks at him and laughs at him and says, "What are you gonna do? Bring the villain into the sky and then drop them and kill them? Oh, wow, that's so heroic." So the class basically thinks of Deku as a villain because all he could basically do is make someone float and then drop them and also choke them. And they don't think about creative ways to do this. The teacher sets the students up because he says, "I personally think he could get in. He's a top student in our class. He always has straight A's with 100% marks in his tests. And he pays attention while we're doing work, always learns new things about Hero and new ways to use his quirk. I think he could get into UA." So he says, "You know how heroes have hero costumes? Maybe his hero costume could have a scarf or daggers that he could control with not pointy ends but the round ends, and he could possess those and use them as like a weapon from far, or he can just possess an arrow on a bow and just have stupidly precise aim to the point where it's concerning." Izuku smiles and says, "Teacher, you're very creative. Thanks a lot for the compliment and the idea." So when they leave school, Izuku walked out very happy about what the teacher said about him. So when he was taking a shortcut, there was a tunnel that was kind of creepy and scary. But he wanted to get home quickly and tell his mom what the teacher said about him. So he just braces himself and ran in and started running as fast as he can. But he heard a rustling sound from behind him. He turned back and saw a monster that looked to be made out of green goo. It was not pleasant to look at. He started to scream and the monster tried to jump on him, but reflectively he used his telekinesis on the air and made a wall out of air. Basically, I hope that made sense, and I hope that's something he can do with telekinesis. And that stopped the sludge bone from jumping onto him. You can solidify air? That's a pretty useful quirk. I could use it to defeat All Might. He tried going to Deku again, but this time he uses his telekinesis and then puts his hands together, kind of like Uraka does when he says release. But he's not saying release or anything, but he just has them together, like the same way Uraka would, and he just like squash. And then the sludge villain starts is like going into itself, and it can't do anything about it. And then it's just immobilized, unable to do anything about it. And that's when Izuku heard aloud, "I am here!" So Deku released the villain from the telekinetic bubble, and All Might punched it, knocking it out. All Might said to said, "Young man, you're really brave." And he started picking up the sludge villain. Deku helped All Might by taking the sludge with his telekinesis and putting it into the bottle. All Might thanked Izuku and was ready to launch until Izuku asked him to sign his book. When he flipped it into a new page, he saw it was already signed, which surprised him. He said, "Thank you so much. This will be a family heirloom passed down from one generation to the next." So I'm going to end the video off here. Please tell me if Deku should get one for all. And yeah, I have the next part of the script ready because I've been literally spending like days practicing this script. But I just want to know if Deku should get one for all. And if he should, then I'll obviously give it to him. But yeah, please tell me. 1 second. I'm just like doing something. Okay, that works. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. Tell me if you want him to have one for all. And yeah.